Hallelujah Scriptures, Bereshith, Genesis, chapter 26. And there was a scarcity of food in the land, besides the first scarcity of food, which was in the days of Abraham. And Yitzchak went to Abimelech, sovereign of the Pelashites in Gerar, and Yahweh appeared to him and said, Do not go down to Mitzrayim. Live in the land which I command you. Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you and barak you, for I give all these lands to you and your seed. And I shall establish the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the Shamayim. And I shall give all these lands to your seed. And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be Baruch, because Abraham obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commands, my laws, and my Torah. And Yitzchak dwelt in Gerar, and when the men of the place asked about his wife, he said, She is my sister. For he was afraid to say, She is my wife, lest the men of the place should kill me for Rivkah, because she is good-looking. And when it came to be, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, sovereign of the Pelashites, looked through a window, and he watched and saw Yitzchak playing with Rivkah his wife. So Abimelech called Yitzchak and said, See, truly she is your wife. So how could you say, She is my sister? And Yitzchak said to him, Because I said, lest I die on account of her. And Abimelech said, What is this you have done to us? One of the people had almost lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt on us. And Abimelech commanded all his people, saying, He who touches this man or his wife shall certainly be put to death. And Yitzchak sowed in that land, and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and Yahweh barak him. And the man grew great, and went forward until he became very great. And he came to have possessions of flocks, and possessions of herds, and a great body of servants, and the Pelashites envied him. And the Pelashites had stopped up all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, and filled them with dirt. And Abimelech said to Yitzchak, Go away from us, for you are much mightier than we. So Yitzchak went from there, and pitched his tent in the Wadi Gerar, and dwelt there. And Yitzchak dug again the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Pelashites had stopped them up after the death of Abraham, and he called them by the names which his father had called them. But when Yitzchak's servants dug in the wadi, and found a well of running water, the herdsmen of Gerar strove with Yitzchak's herdsmen, saying, This water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they dug another well, and they strove over that one too, and he called its name Shitnah. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not strive over it, and he called its name Rehoboth, and said, For now Yahweh has made room for us, and we shall bear fruit in the land. And from there he went up to Beersheba, and Yahweh appeared to him the same night, and said, I am the Elohim of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you, and shall barak you and increase your seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he built an altar there, and called on the name of Yahweh. And he pitched his tent there, and the servants of Yitzchak dug a well there. And Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahusath, one of his friends, and Pikol, the commander of his army. And Yitzchak said to them, Why have you come to me, seeing you have hated me and have sent me away from you? But they said, We have clearly seen that Yahweh is with you. And we said, Please, let there be an oath between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you, that you do no evil to us, as we have not touched you, and as we have done only good toward you, and have sent you away in peace. You are now Baruch by Yahweh. And he made them a feast, and they ate and drank, and they rose early in the morning and swore an oath with one another. And Yitzchak let them go, and they departed from him in peace. And on the same day it came to be that the servants of Yitzchak came and informed him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, We have found water. So he called it Shiva. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. And when Esau was 40 years old, he took his wives, Yehudith, the daughter of Berai the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they were a bitterness of spirit to Yitzchak and Rivkah. Hallelujah Scriptures, Bereshith, Genesis chapter 27. And it came to be, when Yitzhak was old and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau his elder son and said to him, My son. And he answered him, Here I am. And he said, See now, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, please take your weapons, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me. And make me a tasty dish, such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that my being may barak you before I die. And Rivkah heard when Yitzhak spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt wild game and to bring it. And Rivkah spoke to Yaakov, her son, saying, See, I heard your father speak to Esau, your brother, saying, Bring me wild game and make me a tasty dish to eat, and barak you in the presence of Yahweh before my death. And now, my son, listen to my voice, according to what I command you. Please go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I make a tasty dish from them for your father, such as he loves. And you shall take it to your father, and he shall eat it, so that he might barak you before his death. And Yaakov said to Rivkah, his mother, See, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. What if my father touches me? Then I shall be like a deceiver in his eyes, and shall bring a curse on myself, and not a barakah. But his mother said to him, Let your curse be on me, my son, only obey my voice, and go, get them for me. And he went and fetched them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a tasty dish, such as his father loved. And Rivkah took the best garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Yaakov, her younger son. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands, and on the smooth part of his neck. And she gave the tasty dish and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And he went to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? And Yaakov said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you said to me. Please arise, sit and eat of my wild game, so that your being might barak me. But Yitzhak said to his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahweh your Elohim brought it to me. Then Yitzhak said to Yaakov, Please come near, so that I feel you, my son, whether you truly are my son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near Yitzhak his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy, like his brother Esau's hands. And he barak him. And he said, Are you truly my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and let me eat of my son's wild game, so that my being might barak you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Yitzhak said to him, Please come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments, and barak him, and said, See, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which Yahweh has barak. And Elohim give you all the dew of the Shamayim, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those cursing you, and Baruch be those barakah you. And it came to be, as soon as Yitzhak had finished barakah Yaakov, and Yaakov had hardly left the presence of Yitzhak his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he too made a tasty dish, and brought it to his father, and said to his father, Let my father rise and eat of his son's wild game, so that your being might barak me. And his father Yitzhak said to him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn Esau. Then Yitzhak shuddered with exceedingly great trembling, and said, Who was it then who hunted wild game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came, and I have barak him. Even so, he is Baruch. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Barak me too, O my father. And he said, Your brother came with deceit and took your barakah. And Esau said, Was his name then called Yaakov? For he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took my birthright, and see, now he has taken my barakah. And he said, Have you not reserved a barakah for me? Then Yitzhak answered and said to Esau, See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine. And what then shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, Have you only one barakah, my father? Barak me too, oh my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzhak his father answered and said to him, See, your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the Shamayim from above. And by your sword you are to live, and serve your brother. And it shall be, when you grow restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. And Esau hated Yaakov because of the barakah which his father barak him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father draw near. Then I am going to kill my brother Yaakov. And the words of Esau, her older son, were reported to Rivkah, and she sent and called Yaakov, her younger son, and said to him, See, your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you to kill you. And now, my son, listen to my voice and rise, flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a few days until your brother's wrath turns away, until your brother's displeasure turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. And I shall send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? And Rivkah said to Yitzhak, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Het. If Yaakov takes a wife from the daughters of Het, like these who are the daughters of the land, what is my life to me? Hallelujah, Scriptures. Bereshith, Genesis chapter 28. And Yitzhak called Yaakov and barak him, and commanded him, and said to him, Do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padam Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself from there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai barak you, and make you bear fruit, and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of peoples, and give you the barakah of Abraham to you and your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojournings, which Elohim gave to Abraham. So Yitzhak sent Yaakov away, and he went to Padam Aram, to Laban, his son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rivkah, the mother of Yaakov and Esau. And Esau saw that Yitzhak had barak Yaakov, and sent him away to Padam Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he barak him, he gave him a command, saying, Do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, and that Yaakov had obeyed his father and his mother, and had gone to Padan Aram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Yitzhak, and Esau went to Ishmael, and took Mehaleth, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife, besides the wives he had. And Yaakov went out from Beersheba, and went to Haran. And he came upon a place, and stopped over for the night, for the sun was down. And he took one of the stones of that place, and put it at his head, and he laid down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and saw a ladder standing on the earth, and its top reached the Shamayim, and saw messengers of Elohim going up and coming down on it. And see, Yahweh stood above it, and said, I am Yahweh, Elohim of Abraham your father, and the Elohim of Yitzhak. The land on which you are lying, I give it to you and your seed. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall break forth to the west, and to the east, to the north, and the south. And all the clans of the earth shall be Baruch in you and in your seed. And see, I am with you, and shall guard you wherever you go, and shall bring you back to this land. For I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And Yaakov awoke from his sleep, and said, Truly, Yahweh is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of the Shamayim. And Yaakov rose early in the morning and took the stone that he had put at his head, put it up as a standing column, and poured oil on top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. However, the name of that city had been Luz previously. And Yaakov made a vow, saying, Seeing Elohim is with me, and has kept me in this way that I am going, and has given me bread to eat and a garment to put on, when I have returned to my father's house in peace, and Yahweh shall be my Elohim, then this stone which I have placed as a standing column shall be Elohim's house. And of all that you give me, I shall certainly give you a tenth to you.